Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. Today we're going to be doing Pilates to improve shoulder and neck, just to bring that posture up and back and help to relieve any postural pains that you might be feeling. All you need is a band. This doesn't have to be an aggressive or difficult band, we just want some light resistance as we work through the exercises. If you'd like to join me in seated or sitting on a block if you find that more comfortable, we'll just start with some general mobility. So sitting on the sit bones, taking one arm up nice and high and stretching over for a lovely side bend. Take a deep breath into the rib cage and allow your breath to flow. See if you can expand into the ribs and let the breath flow, drawing the shoulder blades down the back slightly to help open up the front. Lovely, and again. Push through the mat, back through center, second side. Lengthen the spine, then bend it, keeping sit bones connected to the mat. Drawing shoulder blades down, connecting with the breath. You can send your gaze, your neck and head wherever you want them to go. Trying to open out the side of the body. Push through the mat, come back through to center. We build on this. Stretch up tall and side bends. From here, take the top arm. You're going to start to circle it to the side. Circle it forward, so you're reaching towards me. And then circle it back the way you came into a side bend. Shoulder blades drawing down, collarbones open, ears and shoulders away from one another. And again, circle forwards, rounding forwards. Finding that strength to round back into side bend. Realigning shoulder girdle, shoulder blades low, collarbones open, ears and neck giving each other room. Let's take another one. Take that circle forwards, reaching forwards with the fingertips rounding the spine. Coming back the way you came to your side bend. Align shoulders and push back through center. Second side, stretch, keep sit bones grounded as we side bend. Align shoulder blades down, collarbones open, this nice length at the neck. And circle forwards, reaching, rounding the spine. And then coming back the way you came to a side bend with an awesome shoulder girdle alignment. And again, circle forwards, reach forwards, rounding the spine. And circling back to side bend, draw shoulders wide and down. And last time, circle forwards. Awesome, and bring it back. Shoulders wide and down, nice and spacious at the neck. And push through the center, bringing that back in. Nice, taking your legs gently out in front of you. Find that tall seat on the sit bones. And you're going to cross your left leg over your right. Then you're going to take your right hand onto the knee. You might even want to take that into the crook of your elbow as you take a really nice tall twist around, placing the hand beside you on the mat. And think about tallness through the spine, and then the twist is kind of the secondary movement here. So a tall spine will kind of give your vertebrae some space, so that then as they twist, you've got a little bit more space and give to the twist. Nice, deep breath in. And again. Unwinding through the body and unwinding through the legs. You'll take your right leg this time and cross it over your left. You'll take your left hand onto your knee. Maybe even come into the crook of the elbow to pull the knee across the body, across the center line. Starting to take your twist. Again, we discussed that tallness of spine, so crown rising to the ceiling, and then twisting almost as a secondary motion here. Taking it down to the mats next to get some rounding and arching into the spine. So you can sit yourself up, hold onto the backs of your legs to gently lower your body to the ground. We find Pilates rest position, which is just with the feet walked in towards the bottom, feet about hips width apart, knees about hips width apart. You can rest your hands wherever you like them. I'd quite like to take fingertips onto hip bones for that tactile feedback. We're going to go through pelvic tilts. Arch your back. Feel the lower back rise away from the mat, and notice how the pelvis kind of rolls forwards and away from you. Return to neutral, so that just means 0 effort, and your spine will return to its neutral posture. Then push your lower back into the mat. The lower back kind of straightens out, and you can feel the hips rolling in towards you. Now we're not lifting the hips to bridge here, we're just pushing the lumbar into the floor. And then relax back to neutral. So take your gentle rolls forwards and backwards through the hips, noticing that lumbo-pelvic relationship. So as the hips move, the lumbar also moves, and vice versa. So gently rolling the hips away and rolling the hips in, just taking your time. Really exaggerating the range of motion. So giving our back the opportunity to free up a little bit without too much load or pressure through the back. Seeing if it's got any more movement for us. Last few pelvic tilts here. Just taking these nice and slow to end range and enjoying the low level, enjoying the slow pace. Finding neutral and grabbing your band. Now we've suggested a low level and low intensity band here, or you can take a higher intensity band and just don't pull it very hard. We only need about 10% of our strength here. We've got the band out in front of us, it's roughly in line with the chest and shoulders, and you're going to apply that 10% pull widthways on the band. Now soften your rib cage and start to take your band into the overhead reach, maintaining the width on the band, and then gently bringing the band back out in front of you. That's it. So we're keeping a neutral lumbar. We're neither arching nor imprinting the lumbar. We're staying in our neutral position. And we're taking these overhead reaches. Being mindful as we reach overhead that we're not popping up through the chest or flaring through the ribs. Good. And just keeping that light awareness on the band helps us to just activate around the shoulder girdle a little bit. That's it. So just waking up, stimulating those muscles in the sides and the rear of the shoulder. Good. We're going for about 4 more of these. So connecting core with shoulder work. Nice. Keeping the ribs nicely connected to the hip bones. Keeping that elongation from the crown down to the tailbone. Good. Final movement with the overhead reach, just that 10% strength on so that we're aware of having to use shoulders with core. Wonderful, and then bringing that back into center. We'll continue with a few more overhead reaches, but this time we're going to add in our bridge. So position the hands ready to go again. Imprint your lumbar into the mat, so push the small of the back into the mat. Squeeze the bottom, and as you push down through the feet and lift the bum, we are going to take the band into that overhead reach position as well. And then gently lay the spine back down to the mat. Band comes forwards, articulating down to the sacrum. Imprint your lumbar, squeeze your bottom, push through your feet, keeping 10% on the band as we overhead reach. And control that spine down towards the mat, lower back, hips, sacrum. And again, imprint, squeeze bottom, push down through those feet, taking your overhead reach. Just 10% needed on the band. Lovely, and gently bringing that back down. We've got about 3 more here. Another nice tip is to imagine you are wearing a coat hanger inside your t-shirts, and that just helps you to keep your collarbones nice and broad, shoulders wide, and shoulders kind of down away from ears again. This helps to take some of the tension out of neck and shoulders and just reposition the shoulder girdle. Nice. Checking the alignment of the knees. Are they wider than hip width? They ought to be in line with hips in an ideal world. Let's go for one more. Bridge with the overhead reach. And then gently returning back down to the mat. So again, we've activated shoulders. We've activated it using the core and the glutes as well. So we're really trying to get the whole body to connect here as we start to reset the back and shoulders. Wonderful. If you can then put your band down to one side, take your feet a little wider to the edges of the mat, and you're going to begin now with windscreen wiper knees, taking your knees and knocking them over to one side of the mat and over to the other, and just allow that twist, that wringing out of the spine as you go side to side. That's it. So you're keeping your shoulders nicely centered and letting the lower body do the twisting. I'm just going to reposition slightly so that I've got a bit more space to show you the progression. So as you take your windscreen wiper knees over to one side, you're going to then take the top leg and swing it. I say swing lightly, you want to be quite controlled, and point your toe across the body before repositioning the foot nice and wide, and windscreen wiper to the second side. Top leg, take the knee, drive it forwards, extend through the toe for an extra stretch, and then reposition the foot nice and wide, knock the knees back over to that first side. Top leg extends and then draws back in. Good, knock the knees second side. Again, it's helpful if you drive the knee first and then point the toe. It just means that you've got a shorter lever length to support with the back. So knee drive and then extend into the full leg and circle back. Let's go for 3 more here. Getting that extension on the top leg. Nice, final couple. Hopefully that's starting to feel a little bit more flowy, less clunky as you get used to it. And then bringing that back through, feet to the centre. You're going to hug your knees in towards your chest now and take a few gentle rocks and rolls up and down the spine, tucking the chin, taking the forehead to the knees. So we're just rolling like a ball here. You need to keep a rounded spine. If your spine flattens out, you will flatten out. So keep as rounded as you can. And if you've got enough core strength and momentum, we'll bring ourselves up to seated. Okay, so we're going to need the band again. Finding your seated position and legs nice and long. These next exercises are really nice, so finding some strength in the back. We hook the band under the feet. And we begin with a seated row. Sitting tall on the sit bones, nice neutral grip on the band. Draw back through your elbows, keeping the crown tall. And inhale on the release, nice and simple. So exhale as you draw back. Inhale as you release. Now, common mistakes here, if you are holding tension in shoulders, is to kind of lift through the shoulders. I really would like to encourage you to let your shoulder blades settle down towards your buttocks. Draw elbows back. And maybe imagine that you're pulling your band towards your pockets. That might just help to keep you a little bit lower. That's it. And let's go for final 4 movements here. Squeezing through the back. 3. Inhale, release. 2. And finally 1 more. If you need to take a breather, I'd recommend a little bit of a forward reach, or if you need to change your leg position, feel free to move your legs around at this point. You may also feel the need to do a little bit of a twist. Might be quite nice for the spine, so feel free to take a couple of twists side to side. So whilst you're moving, I'm just going to go for the side angle so that you can get a better view of this next tuck I want you to find. So this is very similar to a rollback, but it's a slightly more restrained rollback. So we start tall on the sit bones, straight spine, okay? And then we're going to do a very small core contraction. So from your sit bones, you're going to just gently rock back off the sit bones to the sacrum. And then back to the sit bones. And can you see the difference there? So as your sacrum tucks under, you get this little engagement through the core and this tiny little rounding in the low back and then up. So I'm not trying to roll really far back, okay? Just that gentle, subtle shift from sit bones to sacrum, to sit bones, to sacrum. And the band supports you in this. It helps you get back up again. So you're going sacrum, sit bones. Have a few goes and see if as you go to sacrum, you can really engage the core and then sit tall. So you get that core contraction and then the tall body. Let's find sacrum and then pull. You'll feel the core engage more and then release and tall to sit bones. Rock off sit bones to sacrum and pull. Core really ramps up there and release. So we've got the tuck, the core activation, and then the squeezing, drawing back of elbows. Tuck, pull. Inhale, tall to sit bone. Tuck to sacrum, pull. Inhale to sit bones, really good. And tuck to sacrum, pull. Inhale, nice and tall, just two more. Tuck to sacrum, draw elbows back. Nice, and final time. Lovely, and relax. Again, that might be a forward fold that you're after to kind of lengthen into the low and mid back. If you need to, a gentle twist might be really good. So feel free to take some twists side to side. If you need to move your legs around, have a little wiggle of the legs. We're going to add in a single arm row because again we still want to build up some strength and wake up the back muscles. So if you want to take your band again, this time holding on maybe slightly looser, see how you go. And we take that little roll back, so tuck to the sacrum. This time single arm pulls back, so the elbow pulls, and twist the ribs, so look to the side of your mat. And then gently release and tall. So we've got the little tuck of the sacrum, core arm, other arm, you draw back through the elbow, then add in the twist. So we're starting to bring in some obliques and some single arm work. So we've got the tuck, the pull, and the twist. Nice, inhale, tall. The tuck of the pelvis, the pull of the elbow, and the twist. Inhale, tall. Tuck, pull elbow and twist. Good. And tuck, pull elbow and twist. Tuck, elbow, twist. Tuck, elbow, twist. And again, we're trying to keep shoulders quite low away from ears. That's it. So we don't have to hunch through the shoulders. And we're here for 3 more. Nice. So getting some nice strength into the back. We're also supporting this back improvement with some core awakening too, up to the center. And you can take that band, just pop it to one side. We'll bring the legs in. You might like to take those to your butterfly legs and just let those gently open out to the side. You could hold on to your feet and then maybe take a slight forward fold through the hips. See where you get to. If that's a bit much, you can stay more upright. Or maybe come back to those windscreen wiper knees. They're a really good option too. Nice breath. Good, nice little catch your breath, pause point. Let's grab the band again. We're nearly coming to the end of these strengthening exercises. Some quite simple ones to finish with. We're going to take the band up above our head, so fairly wide grip, depending how intense your band is. Settle through those shoulders. Again, if you're uncomfortable sitting, you can do this standing or sitting on a block. And you're just going to take a nice grip on the band and pull wide. It's going to drop in front of your face, come roughly to the chest, and then gently tall again. So inhale there, and exhale. So just in front of the face, skin past the nose. Inhale, tall. And you're looking for symmetry. We're looking to avoid juddering. Inhale, come tall. This is a really good one to do if you've got a mirror, to go in front of a mirror. And you can see if your left and right shoulder are kind of functioning in symmetry, if one's racing ahead of the other, if one's staying slightly higher or slightly lower. It's really good feedback to the brain to try and even yourself out. And let's go for about another 4 of these. Good. Again, keep those shoulders settled down. Inhale to return. Top tip, I like to hold mostly between the thumb and forefingers rather than a big gripping fist on the band, just so there's less tension through the grip, less tension through the palm, therefore less tension running all the way up your arm to your shoulder. So obviously there needs to be a bit of grip, but thumb and forefingers can take most of the load. Relax through those arms. Very similar movement, take the band forwards this time, and we're pulling from the center, and we're pulling widthways. So this will catch on your chest, and then inhale back to center. Exhale, catch on the chest. Inhale to center. And catching on the chest is a really good marker. It means that you're not taking your shoulders too far back into like a hyperextension. Settle those shoulder blades down again if they manage to float up. But again, really good one to do in front of the mirror to check that we're not hunching and scrunching through shoulders. But really nice. You can feel this working into rear shoulders and into the upper back. Just 2 more here. So these are so simple, but I think sometimes the simple ones are really what we need if we're just checking in to reset the posture. Wonderful, bring the band in. Band's going to go behind your back. So it wants to be roughly sort of behind the rib cage and like it's coming out underneath the armpits. You want to hold quite tight there, okay? And then start to open the arms. So this catches sort of just by the elbows, in front of the elbows. So it gives you, again, that really good feedback as to not pulling your arms too far back or too far forwards. You should just feel that touching the inner elbow. So you're going to bring band in and push band out so that it catches the elbow, and then band in and band out. Inhale in, exhale out. So we're working some strength and some stability here. Inhale in, exhale. Inhale in. We're going to exhale out and hold. Settle shoulder blades, settle shoulders, take a twist. Twist back to center, and twist other side. And back to center, and elbows in. So we go wide hold, twist, and center. Twist, and center, elbows in. Final time. Elbows out, arms out, settle shoulders and twist, and center, and twist, and center. Gently release that band and pop it down to one side. Give your shoulders a really nice roll back. So you're lifting them up, settling them down. And the most important part of this roll is the settling sensation. So you get the lift. We're all good at the lift, but really allow the shoulders to drop down and melt down. Allow shoulder blades to sink down your back. That's it. So really try and connect with that sensation of letting go. Bring the body onto hands and knees. Planting hands and fingertips nicely wide, and lift the spine towards the ceiling. Tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, And then arch the back, drop the belly, let the back bend, look ahead, open collarbones and lift tailbone. And rounding, lifting the spine. Into back bend, lifting tailbone, looking ahead, inhale. Exhale, rounded spine. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, rounded spine. Back to neutral spine. Walk your hands, another hand span forwards, and sink the hips back towards the feet for child's pose. Rest the head and breathe. Send that breath into your back. So see if you can widen the back with the inhale. See if you can target that breath especially into the low back. So imagine the low back and across the back of the hips widening and expanding with the inhale. And then the mid-back, try and send the breath into the mid-back, so that is kind of the back of your ribcage, widening. And you should get quite a good amount of width there, because we've got a lot of our breath there. And then see if on the next one you can take your breath to the upper back, across the backs of the shoulders. See if you can get that widening effect with the inhale again. Bring it back down the knees and gently back to a seated posture. Join me sitting comfortably and stretch 2 hands up towards the ceiling. Breath in. Exhale, let the arms and the shoulders settle as you look down to your pelvis. Inhale, lift and reach. Exhale, let arms and shoulders settle. One more time. Big stretch up. This time arms and shoulders settle. But let the head relax, let the belly let go, let the posture kind of collapse and melt and almost fold in on yourself. Let go of any tension. And then gently restacking your spine, one vertebra above the one below it. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope today's been really helpful and really useful to you, and I'll see you on the next session.